All right, so you've done your little bit of getting started now. You might have had a little play around. Let's kind of talk about how this thing works. I'll drag this across so you can see each one of the columns. So we agonised for a while over what kind of columns we wanted. We copied a bit of what other people did, and we basically decided that this is how we was going to roll. We was going to have 5 columns. Like I've said before, don't avoid the temptation to mess around with these. If you want to create extra columns, then you can do. One column, quite popular column, was that I've seen before, is a brain dump, where you basically just add all your tasks down there, and and just get it out of your head, which I'm a massive advocate of, to be honest. However, you can sort of do everything you need to do with these 5 columns. Dossier pretty much stays the same. It's just for collecting useful information, like I said before, and it's a point of reference for different stuff if you've got questions and all this kind of stuff. Your to-do, basically what happens here, this is not like a traditional to-do list where you just whack it on a piece of paper and then someday you'll get to it. The to-do means, I want an assistant to look at this. I want someone to assess it, tell me how many credits it's going to cost, and then I want to be able to have the ability to authorize it to be worked on and actioned, or to shelve it for a later date. Okay, so this is what to-do is. Okay, waiting for client, well, obviously that's you. This might have your name in it. I don't know if we want to spend the time on developing that little functionality. If not, you call client, and I apologise for that, but it's just easy and standard. Basically, this is like anything that you need to action, or it's basically is for you. Okay, so what I would do is I would use this waiting for client as a bit of a thing. So you might want to do your focus finder, and then add a load of cards here. And then use that as a bit of a like a waiting list, a bit of a brain dump, because nothing will happen to this whilst it's in this column, whilst it's waiting for you. Only when it gets dragged across into something else, well, not into that one, but does something else happen. Okay, so this is where you can pretty much, you can pretty much just keep whatever you want to keep in there. All right, and use it as your little notepad or whatever. Okay, so I'll just get rid of those. Okay, and then we've got waiting for third party. So that obviously there's going to be a time when you're not waiting for the assistant to action anything. It's not waiting for you, you're waiting for someone else. It might be your hosting provider for your website. You're waiting for them to get back to you. It could be you're waiting for another, a strategic partner or whatever to send you some information, some prices before you run your training event or whatever, okay? But you might be that you're just waiting for something else and you put it there. That always also acts as a reminder for you to chase people up if you need to. And then you've got a done column. The way that we operate the done column is we don't allow anybody apart from you or Chloe or myself or Joe to move tasks to done. Sorry, a little drink of water. So in effect, what we don't want is cards to get lost. So if the virtual assistant just cracks on and moves that to done and you miss it, then that card can get done, and that's happened to me before in the past, and that's why we don't allow anybody. In fact, what will happen is they might bang out a task and then go, okay, dear, Fred or whatever your name is, do you consider this done? You can go yes, move it to done, or you can just drag it and put yes, and then you move it across or whatever. But they are instructed never to move a card to done unless told to do so by yourself, just so we don't lose stuff. Up in the top here, we've got little notifications. Here's a load of my notifications, so that where I sort of tend to work is I'll come in the morning, I'll check on all these different notifications, see what's going on, amend, feedback, whatever I need to do, and then I'm starting, looking at my waiting for stuff here in case I've missed anything. And that's pretty much it, really. The way that it works is, keep your titles nice and short, so it doesn't get too busy, and then basically you can click in that and then add your description. So whatever it is, if it's something like design a logo, you don't need to whack a full-on brief to get in there straight away. If you've got one, fantastic. You might want to go online and get this big design brief, or you might have one from the past or whatever. You might have a template. then use it. Stick it in there, or your coach might have given you one, or whatever. Okay. But if you haven't got that, don't worry about it. Add that, and we will send you a link to a form that you can fill out that will capture all the information that the designer will need, or the web developer will need, or whatever. Okay. We're getting more and more templates every week as we see, what tasks are common and all this kind of stuff. You can add a due date if you want. You can add a checklist. So if I had a checklist, it basically adds a little list down the bottom. You can name that whatever you want, and then you can add different things. So design logo. This is really good because one of the big issues with to-do lists is that they're not full of actionable tasks. They're full of like very grandiose, scaled up tasks. Build website. But actually, in order to build a website, you need to choose domain name, do some keyword research, select a theme, get some hosting. There's so many actionable tasks within that, okay? And that's where to do this kind of breakdown sometimes. So you can start to break down some of your checklists here as well. And if you've got recurring tasks, then what you can do is, you can basically set a whole load of checklists there, and then just have it so that it's recurring every week, and it just gets actioned by the assistant every week. And that's it. Once I've written it and I'm happy, I can add a couple of attachments if I want, or a link to a Google Drive, or whatever. When you're happy and you want to get it assessed, you basically just drag it across to To-Do. Chloe will then pick that up. She'll assess it. She'll see how many credits it would take. She'll see how many credits you've got in your account, and basically chat to you about whether you need to get some more, or change your subscription package, or whether it's within your your credits and all that kind of stuff, and then tell you what you would need to get started. Basically give you enough information for you to make a choice, and ultimately that's what we want. And it's as simple as that. Comes back, the assistant will go away, you will action it. Usually by the next day, or certainly within a couple of days, he's moved it across to waiting for you. You come in, you amend it, you send your feedback. If it's done, fine, you do whatever. If it's not, you put it back in the to-do, and that's it. It's just like becomes a little bit of a shuffling exercise until you're happy with the outcome. And it's it's as simple as that, really. And everything takes place here. So if you wanted to cancel my subscription, get it in the to-do, you'll get picked up by Chloe and she will action it. If you wanted to help with Trello, then we can get that to you. Whatever you want, just get it in there, and we'll work on it. All right. So until the next video, take care.